Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome back to another episode of Chat with Chaps. This is an episode of Once a Lion, where we interview in person either a former Lion or a current one. And today is no exception. Filming from Casa del Chaps, as I'm going to call it from now on, we introduce the one and only Millwall legend, Mr. Tony Craig. Welcome to the show, Tony.
Thank you for having me.
And of course, another Millwall legend. Sorry, sadly, none of the big boys could be here tonight, but we introduce, I'm only kidding, Mr. Paul Donovan.
Hello, mate. Evening, you good?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to it. Tony, how's things going over at Dorking at the minute?
Oh, really good, personally. I think it's I've just done my 25th pre-season.
Wow.
So I'm 40 years young now. I'm getting the aches and pains. They're coming. They're hitting me now. But no, it's just one of them. The game keeps me young. And I've always said I want to keep involved in this game as long as I possibly can. As long as I'm doing myself justice on the field, I will continue. But for me, there's no better buzz playing out on a Saturday in front of crowds. Obviously, unfortunately, the crowds ain't as big what they used to be. But no, I just still get the buzz, the satisfaction, and I just love the game. And if I can have a smile on my face, brilliant. But obviously, more importantly, you want to win games. And thankfully, we're doing that at the moment.
That's brilliant, mate. And I think one thing we can say right off the bat is that it always felt that you played with a smile on your face. You always appreciated being there, and you always gave absolutely everything, particularly for Millwall, which is a club that you love.
Yeah, no, like you said, I was very privileged to play for the club I love. Obviously supported as a kid. So obviously lived the kid's dream. That's what I dreamt of being as a kid, playing for the club and captaining it. So I've lived that. And I've got great satisfaction in looking back with that, great fondness and great pride as well. But it's one of them. I think people realise with me, it's not my career. I involve my whole family, and that includes my mum, my dad, my brother, sister, and obviously Nan, my wife and my kids. They've come on the journey with me through the ups and the downs, but I know they've been there through the whole way with me, which I very much appreciate.
And safe to assume the kids are all Millwall fans, right?
Well, I don't know. No, they're Arsenal fans, unfortunately.
Oh, cool.
So it's one of them where my dad's side of my family is Arsenal and my mum's side's Millwall.
Right.
So, obviously, as a kid, it was one of them where you do go with your dad's side, but unfortunately, at the time, we couldn't afford Arsenal tickets.
And they were giving them away.
One of them, Millwall was obviously a lot cheaper, and a lot of my mates who I grew up with were Millwall, so we used to go down there a lot as kids. So it's one of them. I did change when I was younger, but obviously, it's a great place from when you go into that ground. There's nothing better, is there? That roar, that passion, and then fans behind you. There's no better atmosphere anywhere in the country.
Except when you lose 3-0 at home to Middlesbrough. But we won't talk about that, will we? So, positive. It's not been a positive week, Tony, I tell you. So, but hopefully this gives the Millwall fans something positive to listen to. This should come out on Friday. Let's go all the way back then. So, Paul, I don't know if you want to take over this bit. You obviously played with Tony at Sammy Montague.
Yeah, he learned everything from me.
That's what your dad says there.
No, yeah, but you centre mid though, then, weren't you, Tone?
Start with. I come in as a centre midfielder.
Yeah.
And then obviously, I played for a Sunday league team called Crossways. I was a good player back then for Crossways. I thought I was the best. And then obviously I come to Montague, and there were certainly some talented boys. There was.
Thank you, man.
But it's one of them. I think you held the right back position down for 2 weeks, and I led. And I think it's me being kind. But no, it's one of them where
I'm a kid.
left footers are scarce, aren't they? And I think I was fortunate to be left footed, because I always say if I wasn't left footed and I was right, I don't think I'd have made it in the game or been in the game as long as I have done. And then Andy Bell was the manager, wasn't he?
Yes, yeah. I used to go recruiting.
Yeah, no, he did. He was a Wimbledon scout, and he got me into Wimbledon as well. For me to sign for Sam Montague was he needed to get me a trial at Wimbledon at the time. So don't give things up for nothing, And I think after a couple of weeks, was it Gaza, I believe? The net back. Yeah. He was. I think he got an injury, and I think I was probably the only left footer, and I went back there and never looked back.
Yeah,
it was one of them at the time. You're thinking, I want to be involved up top, scoring goals and all that. But
you certainly done well out of him, mate.
Yeah, well, not many goals, but no, it's one of them. I went back there and never looked back, and it was a good decision from Andy putting me there.
So then you went to Wimbledon.
Yep.
And how long was you at Wimbledon for then before you...
I was there from, what age? Was it 12, 11?
Yeah, 12. Yeah,
maybe let's say 11. And I got released there from 15. So I was there for 4 years.
Okay.
And obviously I think I had 2 more years at Sunday League. So I played for Montague and then I went to Middle Park. You know, I think I was under money for a year. I think they won the treble before I come and then we won nothing, did we?
Not saying this shit.
So I'll take the blame for that one, mate. I'll take the blame. So, and then I went to Middle Park for a season and I had 2, they were retained then. And then we had a full-time, then obviously when you're 12, 13, you go into like a full-time academy where you got to play for them. You can't play for your Sunday League team. So I went there for 2 years and then, it was one of them where I thought it was going well until the decision time, YTS, and unfortunately they let me go. So it's one of them where, looking back now, it's probably the best thing to happen to me because we had, in front of me, I had Dean Lewington, obviously.
Dons, wasn't he?
Very low. He's only just retired.
NK Dons, you know, and he stayed there his whole career, didn't he? You know, so he always had to strive to get in front of him, which is a very difficult thing to do. He was the golden boy at that time, and give him his due, I think he had 1,000 career appearances. So great lad. The family's fantastic as well, and they let me go there, and thankfully I went to Millwall and didn't look back from there.
Crawley. And is it Richard, a friend of the show, he texted me and said, apparently you missed an English GCSE exam to attend a trial. Is that true?
That's what, that's what document. It's one of them where at the time predicted grades. I've got common sense, but I'm not the most intelligent lad in the world. You know, it's one of them. It's the English one as well, and it's one of them. It's a decision I had to make. It was a trip to France, and they said, "Well, this is your last chance to learn trial. If you don't take this, then you're done, more or less." So I had the discussion with mum and dad, and my dad was like, "You do what you got to do," and mum's being mum's like, "Well, they're important GCSEs," and they give me a due. They said to me, "It's your decision. It's my career, my future." And I took that decision. The teachers weren't happy, you know, and unfortunately they wouldn't let me resit it either. That's the thing. Yeah, they wouldn't let me resit it after. I don't understand why. I remember the headmaster and the English teacher sort of pulling me and going mental at me in the in the school hall, and even my mates were waiting outside, and they could hear it outside. So that's the sort of the rollicking I got at the time. Yeah, it weren't a nice one considering. But no, they. But when I went back to Bexley 6-7 years later, the teachers are still there and giving their due. They come up to me straight away and said to me, "You had to make a decision at the time. We certainly didn't agree with it, but look at you now. You know, it just shows you made the right one." And I'm so grateful I did.
Yeah, and then look, I think obviously that ended up with you beginning your journey with Millwall. You was to go on and play over 300 times for us. Over, depending how you look at it, 3-4, because obviously you come back on loan, didn't you? So 3-4 stints. So let's go back to the very start. And you made your debut, I believe, as an 18-year-old in 2003. Jesus, even saying that.
You're showing me age now. But no, great day for me. Again, I would say great day for my mum and dad at the time as well.
Yeah.
We played Forest away. And you got to remember back then, Mill fans weren't allowed there. They weren't allowed to that game. So
well, we're not.
No away support there whatsoever. Forest were flying higher. They were fighting for the playoffs. So it was just a big occasion, full house at the City.
Was that when they had like the likes of like David Johnson and that? Or
yeah, there's some really good talented players, you know. And like I said, they were fighting for the playoffs. I think they had to get a point or win the game to automatically get into it. And I found out on the Friday, the last training session, obviously before you travel. And Mark McGee said to me, "Tone, does your mum and dad come to games?" I said, "Yeah, Gaffer, like they come every single games." He said, "Right then, you're starting tomorrow. And I've put 2 tickets aside for your mum and dad to come in director's box. And I'll tell them from me, I want them there." So I'll never forget that from Mark McGee.
What's that feeling like, mate? What is?
Oh, it's excitement. And again, it's something you've dreamt of as a kid, isn't it? You know, to be a professional footballer. That's all you want to do. And for me, you know, I'm like, as a kid, I'm sort of kept myself to myself. I'm a quiet chap. Never bigged myself up. And I never thought I'd make it. Yeah, I never thought I'd make it. Like, I'll be perfectly honest with you that. I'm not shy.
That's probably why you did make it.
Yeah, no, definitely. I always knew I had the work ethic. Like, I always knew that I could leave people behind with that. And people say it's busy, but for me, it's not. It's just the way I am as a person. I want to be the best I possibly can. Technically, the best, nowhere near it. You know what I mean? I know that. But I have to put more effort in than other people. And I think that's what's made me go from strength to strength, you know, and yeah, like I say, it's goosebump time, you know, that time. Yeah. And you got your mates like, "Well, you're starting tomorrow," and you're living a dream, aren't you? like that dream is starting there, and you want that dream to continue as long as possible. But for me, is that if I'd have had that one appearance, I'd have been, I would have been, because I could, for that moment, say you've played in a professional game.
And at the City Ground as well. It's a
big occasion to sell out and that. So, it was a great day, and one I really enjoyed. And funny thing is, I've come back from that, and I had a party that night. So obviously, I've come back there all high and all that, and to make matters worse, I've gone out and I've had a great night. It's fun. You get looked differently then. It's not Tony Craig then. It's like, wow, Tony Craig, he's played professional football. So it's one of them where, but the good thing is, it was all with my good pals who I've grown up with. I've played in the cage Vanmire in Thamesmead with. Yeah. And obviously, more importantly, we've played grassroots together. And my mates now, I still keep in contact with them now. And we've all got each other's backs and we all want each other to do well. But that night was a special occasion where it was all like, Tone, fair play to you, mate. It's one of them where people say, yeah, I was better than you, Tone. I should have made it. But it was one of them where they're like, Tone, you put the work ethic in. You worked your backside off, and you wanted it a lot more than me. So, yeah, it was a great day, but a great day for my mum and dad as well. You don't see the sacrifices I have to make behind the scenes.
No, that's right.
You really, really don't. Like, my old man's getting up at 6 a.m, going to work. He's getting at 4:30. We're having dinner and we're out, and we ain't getting into 10:30 at night. So they don't see that side of the game. They all see the glory side, and everything like that. But no, they don't see the sacrifices that they have to make. My mum sort of cooking, making sure the house is neat and tidy for her, coming in, getting the kit out. They're literally getting off the school bus. I'm running home, getting in kit, going over to Surrey, where we used to train for Wimbledon at that time. And then obviously getting back at night. And obviously you got at that time trying to do your homework and stuff like that. Detentions, I couldn't go then. So the excuses that.
If his teachers are listening.
I didn't have many, but like I said, I can't do it. I've got training. Yeah. And nothing would have stopped me from getting to that training and trying to improve myself.
And you touched on sacrifices there, and I think it's well documented in some of the other interviews I've heard with you that you said you went out and enjoyed yourself that night, rightly so, but you made a decision, and we're jumping ahead a little bit here, but it's just relevant to the conversation of actually there are certain sacrifices around lifestyle that you've got to make. Talk to me about what triggered that decision for you, and then do you think those decisions have enabled you to play on as much as you have, which I don't think is necessarily something that everyone does, right? Hence why you've had the career you have.
Yeah, no, I think we about 1920. I think I had a couple of bad games, but back then I'd be out Saturday night, Sunday night, Tuesday night, and not probably saying it, probably Thursday night as well. No, but Thursday night obviously not on the last big.
We're all going to the pub after.
It's funny, I'm obviously not on the last big time, but it's different era. When era it, it was a different era. And Saturday and Sunday was with my pals, who I grew up with. Tuesday was with the football lot. We used to be Clare Rolls up London. And
who was like the biggest party animal out of your group that you was?
Don't forget, I was young then, so I was a follower. So I've got a lot of experienced pros there. You got Nevercott, obviously Chopper and stuff like that. So, and if you weren't there, you were shunned upon a little bit.
Yeah.
You looked at differently. So, and I'm in there and I've got the WIC money. And I've come from not much, and all of a sudden I've got wads of cash in my pocket like I've never seen in my life. So it's a big responsibility, and obviously you earn your scraps at them. You obviously got to pay the bills and look after the dough and make sure people are getting looked after when they want to drink. I'm getting clicked at Tyle, come on, TC, you go and get the drinks. It's drinks time. You're like just a little waiter at that time, But doing that, I got the respect from the elders who sort of took me under their wings, and they sort of guided me and gave me the experience, which I'll always lean on, and I'm one of them. I'll take advice from absolutely anyone, and what it's one of them where the people have got the good side of you and want you to succeed, and you've got the ones who want their own agenda, look after themselves. But for me, I'll ask questions wherever. It doesn't bother me. But on them nights out, sink or swim, and if they told you drink it, you drunk it. And that's what that era was.
Yeah.
And I was a very quiet lad growing up, and again kept myself to myself, but they grew me up as a man, and I knew that that's had to survive in football, and football's a ruthless environment. You know, there's highs, there's lows, but there's a lot more lows. And it's one of them where you sort of the bond comes on them sort of nights out in the training field, and the ones where you can sort of, you know, you can go to war, because when you're on a football pitch, you look at it as a war to a certain extent. You've got to win your personal battles, personal pride, and they're looking to see how much they can push on. You're getting tested at them certain times when you're younger, and that. So no, it was some great nights, some great nights. And but like I said, when I had a couple of bad games at sort of 19, 20, I just knew that was a time where I had to calm that side of the game down, you know, and calm it down where the Sundays got dropped. You know, and obviously still went out on a Saturday if we didn't have a Tuesday game.
Yep.
Went out on the Tuesday, whenever that would be, but I learned a valuable lesson where drinks can go missing. You know, yeah, I've done that, it's done, but it's behind me, you know. So I was a bit more street smart in that aspect, instead of being the fool getting, I wouldn't say dragged out, but obviously getting looked, instead of I was one looking after them and they're looking after me, and took advantage of that time. But you're young, you're naive, you're seeing the stars, and I looked up to them people. You know, and obviously I watched him, and if they told you to do, yeah, I do. Yeah. So it took a year or two to learn that, but it's one of them. Again, I'm repeating.
But you wouldn't change it though.
No, 100%, because now I was a lot more mentally stronger now than what I would have been. You know, and like I said, now the sort of young players, coming up and coming players now, they're sort of a weak mentality on that side, and they're getting tested. Well, they're not getting tested now, but we would get tested back in the day. You know, and they would certainly sink back then. But like I said, the Thursdays be gone. That weren't happening no more. And obviously I still went out and enjoyed myself and that, but then my mates sort of, I lost mates over it, you know, so like calling you boring and stuff like that, but I just knew that you only get one opportunity here. And if you don't take it now, it'll be gone before you know it.
Yeah, someone else will take it, won't it?
Yeah, 100%. Because like I said, there's hundreds of thousands of kids and players who want your shirt, you know, so I was very fortunate to be in that environment, and I wanted to stay in this environment as long as I possibly can. And I do think that's believed that it's helped me going forward and staying fit and in the shape I am now. I think that paid dividends massively.
Well, normally players make it to 25 pre-season, so it's definitely paid dividends. So in terms of, you know, staying in the plans, then Mark McGee certainly had you in his plans, because then you played against Coventry, you scored on your home debut. That must have been memorable for you.
Yeah, that's a great day. You know, I used to sit in Coventry then. So to score that end, and my mates still in, like I said, I'm pointing up there now as if they're there. Here's one there where my mates are still in the same seats where we used to sit.
Yeah.
So I didn't even celebrate on one day. I've gone to my mates. You know, when you see that, when I look back at it, not many times, we try and show my boy that, yeah, I did play. It's one of them, you can see me pointing up to it, you know, and that's sort of goosebump time. And again, it was a great occasion, a great day. 1-2-0, got man of the match. Millwall must have thought, cool, we've got playing our hands here, you know, and I've just seen on the piece of paper I scored 10, but obviously I was in 1 and 2 there. Wouldn't that say enough for you? Well, attack-minded left back, which obviously I think they learned very, very quickly I wasn't.
Well, we'll come on to that, because obviously you was to go on to make a transition to centre-back later on in your career. But so Mark McGee had you in his plans, and I think after, in your first full season, we had the cup final. Obviously you were very, very young at that point. I don't think you played in that game, did you?
No, I didn't play, unfortunately.
What was the experience like?
The build-up, that was brilliant. You know, absolutely superb. Getting the suit, the FA Cup suit, which I've still got today, the FA Cup cufflinks, and you get freebies like you can't believe, you know. And I'm thinking, well, this is nice, you know. Things every season like this, but no, it was great to be a part of. It was one of them where, unfortunately, I didn't make the squad. Obviously, it took Curtis Weston, who, obviously the youngest player ever to play.
Because obviously Wise is manager at this point.
At the time, you know.
Was you not really in his? You didn't sort of anything
training and that, you know. Sort of, he went for experience, didn't he? You know, Wise, he wanted experienced players. So I think obviously when Mark McGee left that season, or was it the next season they got in the cup final? I can't remember it now when McGee went, but he was one of them where sort of things did change. The dynamic changed for me personally. Wise, he wanted experienced pros coming in, and we got some good players in, didn't we? That year, some really top level players who have been there, done it, got promotions under their belt, and it was one of them where I wouldn't say my face didn't fit. He just wanted to go older, you know. And I had a loan at Wickham, which I went there for 3 months, thoroughly enjoyed. And again, that was just to play men's football, get more experience, and to get your name out there, and then I come back, and then I got back in the team with YZ. It was one of them where with YZ, up and down time personally for me. But again, he went down his route of obviously getting experienced pros in it, which paid dividends for the club, So to get in the FA Cup final was a magical time to be involved in the squad, be around it, to see that sort of side of it. And that's my first sort of time of seeing success, where they're obviously winning the quarterfinal, semi-final, and obviously the cup final. And you're seeing that leadership, who was the captain at the time. And
Muscat, wasn't it? Was that Muscat?
Yeah, Muscat. What a great pro he was. And obviously people see the dark hours of him and the tackles he's done, but what man lead, an absolute leader. And he had time for absolutely anyone. And there was a lot of characters in that squad, and I was grateful to be a part of it.
And I think it was such those couple of years, it was real highs and lows, wasn't it? Because we had some real success getting to the FA Cup final. Many people still believe we didn't have the injuries, and maybe the FA Cup run we'd have got in the playoffs, which obviously we didn't.
Which we had a squad capable of doing that year, didn't we?
100%.
Yeah, maybe it could have got in the way, but you got to remember this is FA Cup final.
Yeah,
you're not going to.
Exactly.
It's a difficult one. Obviously, the league is obviously important, but for a Championship club to go in the FA Cup final and there's players there, and then before they get nowhere near it, it's a difficult one to take your mind off, isn't it? And obviously the results around that time, and obviously it harmed it, but you can't hold anyone against that, because you want to be in the best possible shape you can for that FA Cup final, and once in a lifetime, isn't it? For them players who was very fortunate to be a part of that great day.
Yeah, but what an amazing day. And obviously we ended up going into Europe and stuff. But then after that season, it felt that the core of the squad sort of started to sort of split up a little. Obviously Timmy went, didn't he? Reedy went, etc. And then Colin Lee Wisey leaves.
Yep.
And this is where I think the club, the period of uncertainty, I think Colin Lee come in, then we had David Tuttle, and I think you was a bit of a regular on the side.
It was a tricky time for the club, wasn't it? No, let's be honest. The money come out of the club, didn't it? Once the wallets obviously got tightened, and obviously the budget got slashed dramatically, which was selfishly good for me, because obviously it got me into the team week in, week out, made me establish myself.
Yeah.
But like I said, for the club, it was a hard time, wasn't it? You got numerous chairmen coming in, and they were sort of trying to sell things behind the scenes, wasn't they? Like I said, they sold the training ground.
Was this like the Savary era?
Yeah, wasn't it? So they were selling everything up, and obviously the experienced pros there, they were getting moved on, wasn't they? For fees, and which was obviously that money wasn't getting redistributed to the squad. That was obviously going in somewhere else, and no, it's just sort of a topsy-turvy time for the club. And then, it seemed every day at one point. We was getting a new chairman, and like I said, I think we had 4 managers that season.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So Claridge as well, when he was in.
Yeah, and then obviously he didn't even start a game, did he? Colin Lee, David Tuttle.
Really, really unstable time for the club and the players as well. As you can imagine, you think, 1 minute I was speaking to Claridge, he's telling me you're first team left back. You're thinking, brilliant, here's my breakout season, this is what I want to hear. And obviously, bang, before the season's done, he's not there. And Colin Lee coming. And before you know it, he might have fancied someone else. And we signed a lot of players there, but players who haven't been in the champ, So it was a difficult sort of time. And I believe it was sort of the same sort of age that was bringing the players in. And some of these players we haven't even seen play or even heard of. And it's a real sort of topsy-turvy time. But a good thing at that time was the experienced pros, they took all the responsibility on. They kept all the young boys out of the press. We couldn't do no interviews or anything like that. So they sort of took that ownership on them to take it all, and left us young pups at the time to go out and express ourselves and just concentrate on the football and worry about our performances. And it was one of them where I think we had some good results, but obviously not enough to keep us up that season, unfortunately.
Because we had some good players. Like I'm just looking at my notes here. Obviously, we had Dunny, Libbers was still there, Matty Lawrence was still there. Is that Whitbread? I mean, he was quality centre half, wasn't he?
Great. He gifted, talented player. very well grounded. Obviously, he was Liverpool coming through the youth system. So he was his first sort of centre-half who was technically good on the ball. You know, wanted to get in off the keeper and plan out. And I know he played Prem, but I still think there was another level for him to go. But unfortunately, sort of injuries caught him up early. You know, and he had everything at that time. And a great bloke on the line as well. But like I said, Vovo obviously there, he was sort of young, and it made him sort of stabilise and get his position locked down. And so again, a lot of players who have been through the youth system who got a chance that year, didn't we? You know, so selfishly, it was a good grounding year and obviously a growing up year, but obviously it's just unfortunate the club and we got obviously relegated that season.
We did, and then again, a whole heap of new players come in the following season under Nigel Spackman, I believe it was. He wasn't to finish the season. I think he's number 2, Willie Donachie. And there was all sorts going. I think we signed Derek McInnes. I know there was crazy rumours he was getting helicopters down from Scotland. You can fill me in on that. But one player,
don't know,
they did.
But helicopters, so you think see none of the training.
We're doing weird land. But one player that we signed who. I remember him getting a standard. I think he got man of the match, not stand ovation. That was Merce. A man of the match was Darren Byfield. When he was it Rotherham, I think maybe
when we lost, was it 6-0?
Yeah, and he got man of the match, and obviously was to sign for us. That season we finished 10th in League One, so not quite enough. But yeah, just talk to us about that season because that was where I believe obviously you'd had the learning of the Championship, but this is where you basically really stepped into your own.
Yeah, no, it was personally a really, really good season. You know, I felt confident enough and knew that I was capable of playing week in, week out and trusting my body to do it as well. You know, it does take a toll on the body throughout a season. And I think that's probably the first time I probably got about 40, 45 games under the belt as in men's football. So, no, it was a good season. Nigel Spackman obviously started the season. He obviously done the Scash rap freeze. Some, you know, maybe the manager here. Did he?
Oh, God.
You know, obviously, when you sign for a team, obviously your initiation to do a song. And
what's yours? Just out of interest.
Well, it used to be I Believe I Can Fly, R. Kelly, but obviously that's got to change now. That's the one I've done a lot of times, and that's coming out again now as well. You know,
is it really?
Unfortunately, I used to love that. You know, when new players to come travelling, you think, here we go, what we got here, and there's a lot of players crumble under them burp and stuff.
Banner.
I just think, just do it for a minute and it's done. Pick a song that everyone I see. Yeah, no, 100%. But
with no words.
Yeah, but obviously, yeah, Spackman come in. I'm trying to think. Did Willie come in with? I'm sure
he's number 2, wasn't he?
The number 2,
and
it might have been. And again, player after player after player coming in. And the sort of core of the group was thinking, well, hold on, what's happening here? And I can imagine, don't get me wrong, they're probably getting paid a lot more than what the ones who have already been there. So obviously we're all looking at ourselves thinking, well, where's our time coming for a new contract and everything like that? Because they were getting looked after, but that contract was sort of didn't materialise at that time, and it's one of them sort of it's a disruptive pre-season where Spackman obviously tried to get rid of some of the old guard and ones who sort of come through the youth system because he wanted his new players to be with him, and it was a tricky time for some of us there, and we had to work hard and try and impress and get into his plans. And I don't think I started the season, that one, if I remember rightly.
I'm trying to think what other left back there might have been there at the time.
He might even put Zach left back.
Right.
I think he might have put him left back for the start of the season. So obviously I'm finding my way trying to get in his plans and trying to think how long he was there, Spackman.
I think like 3-4 months.
Might be shorter than that, if I'm honest with you. And all of a sudden, by the time, thankfully, it come around, but well, the time I got in the team, it was obviously too late for Spackman. And Willie come in, and Willie sort of spoke to me when Spackman was in charge, you know, saying, take your time, it will come. So he obviously rated me as a player, rated me as a person to take his time out to speak to me. And when he took over, it was a good time for me, you know, and obviously played numerous games. And I think maybe we had another month of the season. I think we could have
It's not him.
He's starting in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I really, really do think because he had a lot of wins in a short period of time, and it was a shame where the season finished at that moment. And obviously, really, did he go to next season? I believe?
I think that's where I think that was in November time. Yeah, didn't it?
Yeah, it was one of them where for me, Willie was a good bloke. Obviously, he done well for me because obviously maybe it got me a lot of gains at a young age.
Well, you're obviously impressed because that summer, Crystal Palace, following obviously finishing 10th in League One, Crystal Palace come in for you and you end up signing for them. I believe they were in the Championship at the time, so going back to the Championship. Talk to me about going to a rival club. What was that like for you, both personally and professionally?
No, it was a tricky time. I knew the consequences of it. I knew the rivalry of the two teams more than everyone. I was supporting the club. It was one of them where you speak to people who have been a part of my journey going forward, and in the end, it sort of got taken out of my hands. Where the club needed the money at the time, and all of a sudden it was like, well, I don't want to go. To all of a sudden, like, well, the club's accepted the offer. We want the money. We've got the replacement ready. We want you out. So, at being 20, I believe I was there, it was like, well, I ain't really got much choice here, So, again, I turned down 3 contract offers and signed the 4th. So, that's there was a number I wanted to get to, and they got to it. And that's football, isn't it? Obviously, it's a short game. You've got to make as much money as you possibly can out of it. And it's one thing where I went with it, and some people obviously showed their point of view, and I got told under no circumstances when I was out with the missus what they thought of it. But again, it is what it is. This is football. At the end of the day, this is people's lives, isn't it? And again, but if they're in the same situation, what would they have done? And if you're getting told you got to go, haven't you? And people say, well, you have got a contract, but I know the EMF.
And you said that the contract offer wasn't materialising. So what you meant to do? Yeah,
the club, so I can't stand there waiting.
And there was no other club.
No club coming in. So and it's one of them where, and also I didn't have to move either. I'm a London boy through and through, and I don't want to go up north. and it's right. So
listen to that, Jaffet.
It's one of them I had no interest in going up north or anything like that. So that's the only offer I had on the table. I had to take it, and again, it was a move. I went there, and again, I think there's another 14, 15 Championship games I got under my belt that season.
It was.
And then I dislocated my shoulder, and so you're out with that for 4 months. And at the time, Peter Taylor took me in, and then the time I got injured, Neil Warnock come in, and he brought his own men in, and unfortunately, I didn't get another look in, and then I come back on loan to Millwall, where so it just shows that it works in roundabout sometimes. But again, at the time, Warnock was good with me. I had 3 offers to go on loan. I had Millwall, Swansea, or Brighton, and obviously even he knew, and he said, "I know he's able to place you're going to go to," and he goes, "Oh, that's an easy one." He goes, "I'll do everything I can to help you get there." And obviously, I'll make sure the club won't try and get a fee or anything like that. And he was fantastic with me. We were both honest with each other. He just said, after 4 months out of the picture, is a long time in football, anything can change. And he bought Clint Healy, who was obviously a good player, a steady Eddie Championship player. He played till he was about 41, 42, didn't he? And played Prem as well. And I think at the time, he's just come in, he done extremely well, and it's one of them where the loan move materialised to Millwall, and thankfully, sort of when I come back again, we was fighting relegation, wasn't we?
Yeah, it was. Kenny Jackett was here at this point.
Kenny come in, and I'm just so grateful that not just me, obviously we all sort of went in the same way, and thankfully we kept the club up.
Yeah, and I think in a weird way, in my opinion, at that time, you were deserving of a better deal and a better contract. So, hopefully, in a weird way, you kind of ended up getting to the right result, which was to be back with Millwall, playing for the club you love, hopefully on a bit more money.
It's funny because I weren't looked as the youth team, Tony. He's come out youth team.
Is that a thing in football, Tony?
Yeah, no, I think it is. I think you get looked at a little bit differently. You've helped him on his journey, which I have. I'm not taking nothing against that, but then all of a sudden you're looked at someone different. Well, hold up a minute, he's gone, he's come back, and I'm very proud and privileged to say, I come through this fantastic youth setup you know, and I'm very fortunate now. I'm a part of the youth setup now where I do Millwall under 16s a couple of nights a week whenever I can make a game. So I'm very grateful for that. But to be a part of it is something which I've certainly got no regrets with.
And Neil Warnock, he's often someone that I personally believe, I don't know if you agree with this, Paul.
I know what you're going to say, and yes.
I would have loved to have him as a Millwall manager. Like,
I think you would have suited it.
Could you see that?
Yeah, I think
When he was running
over the years, haven't they? You know, and
it's too late now, obviously.
you never know of him. No, he's one of them. He's a great bloke. You know, he's an honest bloke. And that's all you can ask him for. Well, just be honest. If you don't rate him, tell me. That's fine. You know, I will try and change your opinion, but if it doesn't work, then you move on, don't you? You know, but no, he was a very, very well rounded bloke. He took minimal training, not much at all, what I remember of, but tactically astute. You know, he could sort of, we always looked at the opposition in depth, and he always pumped belief and tried to put confidence into the players. You know, he said his piece, he said what he had to do, but he always said, go out with a smile on your face and pride and all that, you know, and he always put around what privilege this is to be a part of this game.
Yeah.
And he'd have been a great choice for this club. You know, I really think it would have been a great success, but unfortunately now, obviously that window is certainly passed.
But talcum powder. Did he have talcum powder in them days? I listened to Under the Cosh. It's a good podcast, and apparently he used to stand naked around all the players. Every player that goes on says the same thing about Neil Warnock, and he would just tuck himself in front of him while he's talking to him. So, did you experience the Neil Warnock, and is that why you really left?
I would have been Scott. But I didn't see the talcum powder. The final thing I saw of him was obviously on the running machine. Not running machine, so on the bike. He's on the bike, sweating. He's got the old 118 adverts where had the wristband here. He's like, Craig, yeah, you fit, yeah, we've got to get you back going and all that, just sweating bucket. No, he was a good bloke. You know, good sort of sense of pubis.
Top guy. So there was a couple of other Millwall players, I think, or ex-Millwall players.
Yeah, we had Danny Lawrence, Paul Atfield, and Darren Walker.
Wasn't Grabban there as well at that point?
Was there. Grabban, he
was never used though, wasn't he?
He wasn't used to him. He left just before I come back on that.
And then Leon Colt as well.
Colt,
he was there, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was there.
So there's like quite a few players.
Yeah, so there was a few there. You know, Waldy unfortunately left just before I signed because Darren Ward he's had a great influence through my career. Right. Someone who I've looked up to, took a lot of guidance and advice off of him.
Quality player,
fantastic, but more importantly, a fantastic bloke. You know, he's sort of, when he plays, he just oozes class, didn't he?
Yeah.
You know, never flustered.
Beckham.
Always relaxed and always looked good looking. Yeah. You know, he was one of them always the
pulled the mullet off,
blonde hair, didn't he? You know, and but no, he was one of them off the pitch. I've obviously gone to him for a lot of advice and nutrition, protein shakes. He was the first person to bring that.
But you then come back to us on loan initially, and then we sign you back permanently. So we've stayed up, and then this is where Kenny Jackett over the summer does his rebuild, and you're part of that, right? You come, you know, in permanently. We had a really good season that year. We finished fifth. Obviously, you were then I believe you captained the side that game against Scunthorpe.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, unfortunately, Robbo was out for quite a while. Like that season, you know, and obviously got very honoured that Kenny trusted me really hard. That.
What was your relationship like with Kenny? And by the way, I've heard he's not very well, so we're sending him regards.
No, me and Kenny get on really well, even to this day, you know, and he's a great bloke, a great manager. He was funny because, like I said, he was a left back, wasn't he? You know, coming through. So it's always harder to play for a manager who's played in the opposition. So obviously they scrutinise it a lot more.
Right.
So obviously I had a lot more scrutiny on me in being in the same position, but I learned a lot from it. You know, more importantly, how to be a leader, how to be the sort of the vocal and the man around the dressing room, and obviously on the pitch as well. And again, he was such a so calm he was, Kenny, in around the training ground. Only interested in football. You know, you can't have a discussion about him about anything else because he's got no interest about it. He's just 100% football when you play for him. You know, he's just football, looked you up. But then when you leave, I didn't know if he knew my wife and my kid's name. And then all of a sudden you meet him, he's like, well, how's the kids, how's the wife? And he's named them by name. I'm thinking, we never had a discussion about it, you know, because it was just, he was such a manager of, you're here for me, working for me. This is what I want, structure and everything like that. So for me, I didn't think he was interested in that side. But he sort of took sort of little moments. He must be listening when you don't think he is. And he's very clever in that he always kept you guessing whether he rated you or he didn't.
Yeah.
And thankfully for me, he certainly rated me at that time. And again, it was a great day. Well, not a great day because obviously we lost. But again, you got to remember growing up, being captain at Wembley.
Yeah. How old are you then, Tony? So what's that, 2008? So you're 23 or something? 24? That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is, and walking out there and everything like that. And obviously, it was a shame for Robbo at that time, obviously coming back, but like I said, he got his redemption the next year, didn't he? But I just remember the whole build-up, that game for the Wembley one was, I'm going Wembley. He sort of takes your mind off of the importance of the game a little bit, because you can always have that privilege of walking on that pitch. Players saying you've played at that stadium. I've been very fortunate. I've played there 5 times now. Wow. So I've been very, very lucky to do it. But I only thought it happened once. So I remember the game at Leeds, you're winning there. Maybe we celebrated a bit too much of that Leeds one, and I think the occasion probably got to us a little bit. You got to remember Scunthorpe that season, they got in the LDV vans it used to be called then? So the equivalent of the Checker Trade Trophy, or was it Checker Trade?
Yeah.
So everybody had the experience of that at Wembley. And I think that's important, because that pitch can certainly swallow you up at any time.
Yeah.
That when you go there, it's a wow factor.
It was like that day as well.
Oh, it was, yeah. Okay, being this power as well. But no, like I said, you're looking up at your family, looking at them waves and looking at your mates, and you're like, I'm on the pitch, So I think it was an occasion where it come too soon, But again, I think that year and that experience at Wembley, I think it held us good stead going forward for the following season, where obviously we got great success.
Yeah, and I think that obviously just that game, I'm sure the Scunthorpe had didn't Walford score against, because obviously we'd come on to I think they had Trotts there as well on loan.
Yeah,
there's some good play. Gary Hooper up front.
Hooper and Paul Hayes,
that good rotation. Look where they are now, though. Just
the same, but I think they beat us twice in the league that year as well, didn't they? And obviously the final, so they certainly had our number. But yeah, it just shows with football, doesn't it? We could have got up there maybe a year too early, and look where Scunthorpe are now. Conference North, aren't they? Yeah, so it just shows what can have a sort of a harmful effect, because obviously the player budget goes up, the infrastructure has got to change, and if the club can't afford it at certain times, obviously consequences come in the future, and that's obviously why they've dropped, and they dropped quite dramatically, haven't they?
Well, we got our own back on them, part of the game again that you played in a little bit later, but we won't jump ahead there. It's something I want to, you'll like this, I want to segue. I want to segue in saying, because you touched on something, I really want to ask you this. You said about Kenny taught you to be a leader, and it showed you how to be in around the dressing room, on the pitch. I want to try and link it to Jake Cooper, the current captain for Millwall. Now I think he gets a bit of unfair criticism.
Great serve the club he's been, fantastic.
So
great player as well.
He is. Yeah. He really is. And I think, he is what he is as well. Like, he's never going to be this sort of Beckenbauer playing out from the back or whatever. But the reason I ask you is because obviously he's now taken on the club captain responsibility with Hutchie going. And he isn't the most vocal player on the pitch, right? But I'm just trying to link it to what, as fans, do we maybe not consider when it comes to what it takes to be a Millwall captain?
Yeah, you got to see what happens behind the scenes as well. It obviously isn't just that 90 minutes. It's a full-time job. It's 24/7. If any problems happen, obviously manager gets called in, it comes down to the captain. But more importantly, for me, I just want to be the leader of showing my professionalism, by being the best version of me, by work ethic, and trying to... It's one thing, when I cross that white line, I know I'm a different person. I've got some adrenaline pumping and all that. I think people will say I'm probably one of the nicest people off it, but on it, I can be a cunt. You know what I mean? That's your title. Yeah, that's it. Done. Finished. That's what I'm like, because I will do anything possible to win a game of football. I'll do anything possible to win my personal battle, my personal duels. and if it means I've got to be on someone by vocally, then so be it. No, I'm not shy doing it. But what I've got to do as well, I've got to make sure I'm right and performing well to earn the right to go and have a go at someone and everything like that. But no, with Cooper, I had the pleasure of playing with him. You know, he's a fantastic bloke, great sense of humour. He he will be the character around the dressing.
Yeah.
You know, the game's changed now. You don't have to be that vocal, the showing your expressions on the pitch and geeing other people up. The game sort of evolved and changed with that. And that's where the game's going, unfortunately, because I like the old way. You know, I like to show it and people to show it. And if whoever the leader may be, I want them to sort of, if I'm having a bad game, tell me. But Coops will be, I could be.
Is it more the Darren Ward stuff, where it's like, by example, he's always fit? So he's always available.
Let's be up to 380, 390 games he's got now.
He's over 300, I'm sure he's
easy. Like he's never, like I said, he's never injured. Always done a good account of himself. And his performances, he deserves that armband. Who else in that team at the moment deserves it? For me, I think he does. He's been here for a good number of years now, hasn't he? And I think he knows the importance of the club. He knows what it is to represent his club and taking his club forward, which he has, because when he's come here, the club's gone from strength to strength, improved season after season. And he's been a massive part of it, you know, and there's been times where he could have easily moved on. But I think he's loyalty to the club. And again, I'm trying to think how old Creeks is now, 20.
I think he's 30, 31. But he's never had pace. It's not like it's going to change. Yeah, that's what I mean.
You know, and thankfully for him, he's 6'7", 6'8", builds like a brick shit house. He uses that to his full force. And again, he knows his strengths. He knows he ain't going to be most graceful on the ball, but boy, the can.
If someone's ripping a cross,
he puts his head.
You want him there?
No, definitely. He puts his head on his body on the line week in, week out for this football club, and I think rightly so he should be on that.
Yeah, agreed.
Do you need a horrible, like not even horrible, but like, even like recently we had Sav's left, George Saville, and he would constantly be like in the refs here. It just look if he plays for the other team, you hate him, right? Yeah. If he's on your team, you love him. Do you think even with our footballers now, you kind of need someone like that still? Or
it's not. You can't go and speak to the referee unless you're a captain.
Yeah.
It's a difficult one now where they sort of give these signals now. Well, if you didn't stop Sav to their third down there, you'll get booked. Or if you go shouting at a ref, you can't go and do that now. So again, I'm saying this game's completely evolved, and the changes, they're doing it where they're sort of loud noise bellowing and sort of getting into people's faces, and the referee trying to get a little advantage. You may get penalised now, unfortunately. You know, and I'm just thankful I come through when I think I would have lasted led back, I can assure you.
Yeah, football's definitely changing, isn't it? Some things for the better, some things not. No, but anyway, back to kind of sort of 2009. Obviously wasn't to be successful the first time. Second time of asking, we are. I think Kenny Jackett, as you said, it probably was just a little bit too soon. Over the summer, I think we brought Waldy in, brought Morrow in. Obviously, Morrow took a bit of time to get going, but when he did, he really showed his quality. So I think we just made a few more additions. And what I loved about what Kenny Jackett was building, he was building a real good blend of core leaders that get Millwall, that understand the club, the likes of yourself, Chopper, Gary, but complementing it with some other players that obviously took us to that next level. We were to be successful, but I've noted down here, which I'll be honest, I didn't remember until, I'm sure you bloody will, until I did my notes, that you started the game that came off in the playoff final. Is that right?
Yeah, probably third and fourth minutes Arsenal in the foot, you know, done a stupid tackle I should have done. You know, I knew that. It's one in where I sort of gone in for a ball where probably about 80-20 against, unfortunately. And the geezers caught me clean. I'd sort of booed up to his studs.
Right.
And as soon as I'd done the tackle, you know you've done it wrong, and I sort of get up, and I knew I was in trouble straight away. You know, I had a massive hole in my boot. And then I tried hobbling up, and just got that in pain. A pain I've never felt. Pain, which I cannot believe. And I remember the physio, Bob, coming on, he went, "What's the matter?" So I done my foot, and he squeezed it, and it cracks everything. I'm like, oh my word.
Good old Bob.
I won't say what I said, you know, at the time, but yeah, I knew I was in trouble, and it's a tackle which I shouldn't have made. Silly, really. I should have just held the geezer up. But the occasion, being at Wembley, you want to be a winner. You want to lead this club up to the Championship. And again, there's only one way I can play. And unfortunately, that day it's all caught up with me. And even when I've seen it back, you think, what am I thinking? What am I thinking? But again, that's my part of my game.
You probably still do it, mate.
Yeah, probably would. Yeah, I got metal halfway down my left side of my face and my body. But no, it's one of them where, it's a silly challenge, but it was a great occasion for the club, wasn't it? You know, it was a great day for obviously Robbo scoring the winner. Obviously, him coming back. Obviously, he had the season off that season.
Yeah,
pleasing to see him lifting the trophy. And again, I was a winner. The club I supported at Wembley. You know, and I'm I'm on crutches with the trophy in my hand. I've got the trophy, and I'm looking at the mum and dad in the stands and my friends. You know, so it was a great occasion for me. One with great memories, great people. Where even now we sort of all talk about it whenever we meet up. That's a moment we'll always go back to.
Yeah. Does it change your approach going to Wembley as the captain versus, I'm assuming you'd have been vice captain with Robbo playing? Does it change your approach at all, or?
Yeah, it's a lot more, a lot less responsibility, you know. That's sort out the tickets, you know, which is a pain in the backside for everyone. But no, it's sort of you try and sort everything out a week, 3 or 4 days before the game, and then obviously the next few days I use try and concentrate fully on that. And I was very fortunate. Robbo sort of took that responsibility on, and he enjoyed that part of the game. Robbo, you know, he loves helping people, he loves being the go-to man and helping people whenever he possibly can. And it does take a little bit off you know, because obviously the captain obviously got more interviews, you know, and obviously make sure that people getting looked after, and obviously the staff, but more importantly, people working behind the scenes as well, in the offices and all that. You know, being the captain, you want them to be a part of this great day. So you've got to remember, you've got to get them involved. You've got the press day. So it's a lot more intense when you are captain to deal with that than being vice.
Can I ask, that season, we had Mike Calvin in, didn't we? And he wrote the book. So I don't read, right? I did do my GCSE English, but I don't read.
Can you read?
A little bit, French. But yeah, I love that book. But how was that? We're having someone in the changing room. Like, was he accepted, or was it? Because obviously now you see, it's gone on again. Yeah. Talking documentaries and stuff. But how was that? Because there was nothing like that before.
Yeah, no, there wasn't. It was the first time, you know. At the start, it was strange, you know, because all of a sudden you're thinking, who's this bloke? And
what's he wearing?
And this change, for me, the changing room is so sacred. I don't think nothing should leave. You know, which when you read that book back, there ain't really much in the changing rooms, is there? You know, you catch these little glimpses and that. But no, I think the changing room is sacred, and what he said in there should stay in there. But he's obviously Kenny's obviously trusted him enough to bring him involved. And I've read the book as well, and it's a good read, isn't it? Yeah, for Millwall fans, and it was a great year for him, wasn't it? Coming through the highs and the lows throughout the season, it was always great for him, and great ending.
Great ending, yeah.
You know? So no, at the start it was tricky, but then obviously Mike made himself aware, and you knew when he was in the room. But give me due, we all got copies of the book, and it was parts. If you didn't want it in there, you could bring it out, you know. And so it wasn't just his way, and the book was done, and you only read it when it come out. You sort of told, I want to put this in. Are you comfortable with that? There were some things I wasn't, and I said to put it out, which he done. So, which made it work as well, and that's where you sort of got the trust with him as well. And obviously, he's been a great author, and he's got numerous books out now. It's that big success, hasn't it?
Yes. Speaking of success, we're promoted, and what we're going to do is we're going to pause for the end of part 1. So I'll be honest, for no other reason, so we can all have a piss. So thank you for joining us. We'll be back in a minute for part 2. Welcome back to part 2 with our exclusive one-to-line interview with Paul Donovan. Oh, and Tony Craig as well. We were just talking about obviously getting promoted. So we get promoted back into the Championship, and this always goes down as one of my best games. I don't know why. Away at Bristol City, we are behind the goal. David James is in goal. I think it was it Koppel was their manager?
They
spent loads of money. We go there. We've gone up. As a fan, I'm thinking, are we going to hack it up there? And we win 3-0. I remember that day, like black and white. And I think we then went on and beat Hull 4-0. That season, you were in and out the side competing with Scotty Barron.
Yeah, that's great.
Tell us what.
It's funny, I missed 2 months off the start of the season because obviously coming out at Wembley, Arsenal, so obviously it takes 4 or 5 month recovery time, and pre-season's so important, to get them hard yards under your belt, them sort of strenuous runs and putting your body to the max and through the extreme. You're always playing catch up, so it's always good to do it in a group because obviously you can push each other, get the best out of each other. When you're coming back later in the season, you're doing a mini pre-season on your own. It's difficult. It's hard to do it by yourself because you're not getting pushed by your teammates. Or whenever I do pre-season, I sort of lock onto someone, if that makes sense. So, for instance, I don't know, let's just say Darren Wall, for instance. I will follow Darren Wall around and he will drag me around that pitch or whatever we got to do because I know once I start dropping off from them, I'm behind.
Right.
So I sort of gravitate to someone and pick someone out who I think I can keep up with you and we can sort of drive each other.
Yeah.
So doing it on your own is difficult. And yeah, like I said, I've missed the first 2 months of the season. Started off well, I believe. Yeah,
we did.
Like I said, the results you're saying out there, we started extremely well. Must have all changed when I come back. But no, it's it's one of them. And obviously, Scotty coming in, he done well. I'll give him credit when credit's due. He sort of locked down that fullback position. And it's sort of start season for me. And when you are playing catch up, it is difficult to get there because consistency of 3 or 4 games. Me personally, not being the most technically gifted player, I have to get 3 or 4 games on my belt to feel ready. Do you know what I mean? To be at my best. So it was a difficult one, and I think it's sad. It's a difficult one, but I still probably played 30, 35 games that season. So for me, I think being a pro, if you play anything over 30 games, you can still call that as a successful season. And me and Scotty, we had a good relationship that year. He's probably the only sort of player I've actually good relationship where we're up against each other. Because I take things personally. If you've got my shirt, I want to grab it off you and I'll do anything that I can to get it, and I look at it that you're taking food off my kids or a toy off of them because you're costing me money. You're costing me bonuses and stuff like that. So I will do anything I can to possibly get it back in the team. And obviously the bonuses and unfortunately money makes the world go round, doesn't it? We'll go and earn it. And if in this game you can go and grab it and I want to grab as much as I possibly can. So, it's a good relationship with me and Scotty there where we had this sort of a laugh with each other. Is if they had a good right winger, I knew I'd be better. If they sort of played a low block or a narrow sort of midfield, their space down the width, I knew it'd be Scotty better, So even in the end, I think we even knew 2 weeks in advance or a month in advance how many games we were going to get. It just showed that Kenny was comfortable in trusted us to a certain extent, but he didn't trust me enough. And I knew I wasn't good enough with my attacking play, or being on the ball in time and in tight situations. And Scotty was obviously better with that, but Kenny obviously trusted me to mark their good wingers. So it was a funny sort of time between the two of us. We still had good banter today about it as well.
Should have just spit the bonuses.
Well, some had more than others.
I think one of the other things as well was having someone like you at left back doesn't necessarily happen as much these days because not many teams even play with 2 up top. But there would be times where Morrison used to do it to the opposition all the time, where the biggest centre forward would peel off to a fullback because they felt they could beat them in the air. Whereas I always felt having you at left back, we had another player, a bit like with Crammer at the minute, that was good in the air. However, I think it was the end of that season. I think you had a brief loan spell at Leyton Orient, I believe.
Yeah.
And then you were to go to Brentford.
Yes, that's correct.
Which you've said in many interviews before, it kind of the best decision in your career. And we'll come on to that in a minute. But I believe it was Uwe Rosler that signed you in League One. Tell us about how that move came about. And you smiled when I said his name. So tell us about him as well.
He's one in the Uwe Rosler, very intimidating man. Big, broad-shouldered German. Obviously, just screamed and shouted. You wouldn't have a normal conversation, and they think it was just you had to be a winner, and that's the way he led, and that's the way he managed as well. But for me, at that time, because I was in and out so much, I want to be a player who plays week in, week out.
Yeah,
and obviously the game evolved and changed. More attack-minded fullbacks, and I wasn't good enough going forward. I knew that. And there was a few discussions who I had on the way, sort of Richard Shaw, Chopper, Waldy, where actually as well, he understood that I'm a man who wants to earn their money by earning by playing week in, week out. And I just said the way the game's evolved, that I knew I was more comfortable in possession in the centre of the pitch and then out wide, because obviously you've got more of the pitch to play with, haven't you? You can obviously go both directions. You've got the diagonal ball, straight passes, obviously to the other side as well. So I just knew that I was more comfortable in possession in the centre, and I was very fortunate I could always sort of got a good leap and a good hang time. Certainly not the most broadish centre half you're ever going to see. And I just spoke bluntly about it, just saying, well, what do you think? I see myself transitioning over there. And Kenny was fully on board. He was like, Tony, I see it. I do understand it, because Kenny played a lot of games with me at centre half. So he goes, I just can't guarantee you'll be my first choice or second choice. And it's up to you. He goes, I want you to stay here and be competitive and push my two other centre halves, but I can't guarantee that. And Gary Alexander was at Brentford at the time.
Right.
So obviously he got in contact with Ray Roslam, Brentford, and it was one of them where he come and watched me. I think I played centre half against Watford at the time, marking Troy Deeney on a Tuesday night, and he just said to me after that night, I want you. And give me his due, he went all out for me. And I had a decision to make, and my decision at that time was to go and leave. And if I didn't do that then, I'd have been out of the game by today. And when I say out of the game, that's being League Two, professional. I'd have dropped into the non-league and that. And like I said, I'm still playing now, 40 years old. Last season I played 50 games. So obviously I know people say, well, ain't as much running. And thankfully I can read the game well, being in the centre of the pitch obviously helped. But again, it was just at that time where I looked after myself. I sort of what's best for me going forward. And it was a great decision for me. And then people who I sort of looked up to and asked them advice, we even chat now and have a laugh about it, saying what a great decision it was, because I would have been done in this great game many, many years ago.
And it was a really good decision, because you were to become a proper full-time centre-back, if you like. Rosler wasn't to stick around for too long, and I believe Mark Warburton came in.
Rosler went to Wigan. Mark Warburton came in. Mark Warburton was a bloke who worked behind the scenes, who sort of done the signings, and very close with Matthew Bennon. And at the time, Brentford was on the start of the wave going up to where they are now.
Yeah.
And the money sort of coming in. And at the time, Brentford being linked with Glenn Hoddle. You got to remember, he was the England manager, and obviously everyone speaks so highly of him. And you're like, well, that's the one I want. I want to play under Glenn Hoddle. And Mark Warburton got the job, and you're like, well, hold on a minute. Well, how's he got the job? But within the 3-4 weeks, he was brilliant. He was good, yeah. Session, fantastic. He was a trader. So he took a 95% pay cut to go into the professional game under Brentford. But he'd done his research. He was travelling to Barcelona to go watch their training. Atletico Madrid, he was going to Milan. So he's even going to America and watching their techniques of training in Germany. Wow. So he'd done his due diligence, and obviously went and worked behind the scenes, which not many people will know that, but I still keep in contact with him now when he's out in Jacksonville doing a team out there. So brilliant manager, and he got me playing a style of play I never thought I would, by being a possession-based side. It's obviously, don't forget, at the time, Millwall sort of, wasn't there? Yeah, that was obviously my strength there. But no, I went there. I thoroughly enjoyed my 3 years there, and obviously very grateful that we got the promotion there and that club into the Championship.
Yeah, because I believe you were captain. You got players player as well, which I mean again is testimony to you and your character, that you've gone to another club. You're not captain because you're a Millwall boy. You're captain on merit. You get players player, which is probably the biggest accolade you can get. You know that, and you get promoted. I mean, what was that like? Any holidays?
Oh, mate, I was really listening. That's why, and yeah, it was a great occasion. See, he's very grateful that the club paid for us all to go to Vegas. I think the other thing I had to pay for was my food and me gambling. And people know me, no, I don't gamble. It was a cheap holiday for me, but it's one where it was the best 6 days of my life. You know, and obviously Vegas is a fantastic place, and I saw things which, just great memories, great bunch of lads, and very grateful that the club paid for us all to go there, and even to me, I think tell by my face.
Yeah. I mean, it clearly helped because you took the momentum straight into the next season, where I believe you got into the playoffs in the championship. And want to talk to you about. I mean, you had some good players. I've noted down here you had Stuart Dallas, Pritchard, Jake Bidwell, the Badger, Gray up top. Some real James Tarkovsky. Was he centre back partner, wasn't he?
Partner, yeah. And
Made him.
yeah, no, I wouldn't say that. But no, I have to admit, when James Tarkovsky came, I think he's probably been the only player when I knew I was in trouble. When I would say in trouble, I'm like, this bloke's good.
Yeah.
This bloke is good. And obviously, being a professional footballer, you got to have that confidence in your own ability, trust yourself and all that. But I remember within 2 weeks, him coming in, and I thought, I'm in a little bit of trouble here. He just threw his class. You know, he sort of.
Didn't you found the right though? So was he not like that compliment?
Me and Harley Dean sort of playing on the left, or they'd change it to a back three and that. But he was a class above. You could always see why he was going to go one way, play for England, and even now, so he must be 33, 34, and still signing Prem week in week. And he was a talent, the boy. You know, really, really good player. But he's one of them. We had good, really, really good side there. I said Andre Gray going for big sums of money.
Yeah.
You know, Corey, I think we go for 8-9 million.
Yeah.
Moses Jadu, he went for big dough, big money.
Everyone's tried to recreate that since, haven't they now? Just that Moneyball.
Yeah, that was the first time of the Moneyball. That was the sort of stats and everything like that. Before that, it was just the manager made the decision, didn't they? Or it was an agreement between, obviously, its chairman and that. But that was the first one of these numbers. And I'm like, well, how's that going to work? You know, there was a lot of times where it wasn't successful. But then obviously Brentford got to a stage where they could spend more money and get the Ollie Watkins in, and obviously that's materialised from there. But no, it was a 3 years there, and I thoroughly enjoyed my 3 years.
And I remember you coming back to the Den. You'll have to tell us about that, because you beat us 3-2. Yeah. And I just remember, and please don't take this the wrong way, I remember being really impressed by your performance, in the sense of I'd never seen you play in a side that was total football, we call it, that you were really comfortable with the ball at your feet. You were obviously captain. I don't know. I was just like, wow, what an evolution of a player.
Yeah, no, it's funny where again, I know I'm banning that sort of style, but with them players, but they that was probably the most nerve-wracking I've ever been in the game of football. I think the whole week was uncomfortable for me personally. Obviously, you can imagine that time the press was sort of all on me that week.
Was that the first time you played against Millwall?
Yeah, first time, yeah. So it was an uncomfortable one for me personally. I remember the morning of the day of the game, waking up and just nervous. You know, really, really nervous. Wasn't looking forward to it, but it was one of them. It was as soon as I got to the ground, it was good to see some old faces. Obviously, I haven't seen for a little while, and yes, obviously, as soon as you walk over that white line, you want to win for the team you play for, you know. And I've got some good banter that though, to be honest with you, and that. So it's funny. More my mates were up in the bar after that, so it's good to have a little giggle with them. And
you had the break of bites.
I did that day, but no, it's one thing. It was a day which I was thankful it was over. You know, I just wanted that game done, move on, and then move on to the next game. And like I said, it was one then the end of that season. Obviously, I come back. So it's funny how this game works, isn't it?
It is. So Warburton, I think, goes to Rangers at the end of that season, because you get in the playoffs, you're not successful, obviously, in getting up into the Premier League. I could be wrong, but the next season you were at Brentford, but you were in and out the side. I think they'd brought in a foreign manager.
Yeah, no, that season I come after that season.
Right.
Yeah, because they, like I said, the stats they were doing, the Moneyball, they were signing upon players from Eastern Europe on this Moneyball stats. So they're signing people from the Bulgarian B League, you know what I mean, Poland, because these stats were sky high. They were trying to use that to get players in on the cheap, to obviously to sell. And I believe the first quarter of the Dutchman who took over, I can't remember his name, it wasn't a success. I mean, as I was alluding to earlier, Brentford obviously put more money into the transfers to make this money ball work. And obviously since then, with their methods and their stats, all that, they haven't looked back, have they? I think the high percentage of their players have been a success story.
It's funny, isn't it? Because at the minute, their team's being, broken apart, isn't it? Like obviously Thomas Frank's gone, Norgard's gone, Wissa's potentially going, the lost in Buemo. But you almost have faith in them to rebuild it again, didn't you?
Yeah, nice. You do, but it's a lot. It's a tricky one. Like I said, I think there's only so many times you can get the talent in, and it's an interesting season for them. Obviously, it didn't start brightly. Nottingham Forest for them. So, no, it'd be interesting. Me personally, I hope they stay up, and I hope they get a few more through the door before the window closes.
Yeah, but you alluded to it. You come back again for arguably the fourth time. We don't know yet. I mean,
you do.
All I'd say is we did ask some of the fans for some questions, and one of the questions that come in was, with Japhet Tanganga being rumoured to be leaving the Den, how would you like to come and fill the position?
But again, like I said, it's interesting with him, isn't it? He's done fantastic with the club, hasn't he? Yeah. What a great defender he is. I think we're very privileged to have him at the football club. Obviously with the start he's had being at Tottenham, obviously come on loan to us, and he's been a success story. So it'd be interesting to see what happens, if he does go or where he will go. But like I said, he's been a credit to himself, and he's been a great player for his club.
He has, and I think if he does go and we get a good amount of money for him, I think it's probably the best outcome. I think Phil coined it earlier, than easier for a good time, not a long time. So let him crack on.
Unfortunate, but that's the nature of the beast, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's not a Millwall fan. He's got no loyalties to us. But so who signed you back then? Was it Harris or Holloway?
Yeah, Harris.
It was Harris. Yeah.
But no, it's good to brilliant to come back. Again, it was an easy decision for myself. It's my name, obviously. It was funny at the start, 'cause obviously Chopper's obviously a teammate.
Yeah.
Which obviously grown into a mate. Then obviously he's my manager. So it was I wouldn't say tricky, but it's just funny calling Gaffer at the start.
Yeah.
But I knew it was a mistake, and I knew I had to get this club back into the Championship. That's what I was bought for. And that's what we sort of discussed when I come back, and I'm just so grateful that I held myself side of the bargain up, and thankfully got this club back up there.
And I think one of the things that when you look back, there's so many parallels to kind of like the Jacket era and the Harris era in terms of that core of experienced professionals that know Millwall, that get it, but also with some of the younger players being blooded in, the likes of Fred, Aidan.
Yeah, I was going to say, was it Morrow come back that year as well?
Yeah, Morrow have come out.
Yeah, so these like the government.
I said it was the spine of the team. I said knew the club, didn't I? And he knew that he could lean off, and then you get the people who up and coming, or the older road runners, as the saying goes, isn't it? Who can sort of do more running than the older boys, and that. But no, we just had a good core at the spine, and the others sort of come in with us and sort of galvanised with each other. And we had a few of the youth team come as well. Tom Overs, obviously saying earlier, he'd come up and he'd done extremely well. So it was just a real, obviously Webby and Beavers we had around the squad, didn't we? So in that aspect, yeah, it was a good team, but a team of men. Them names I've mentioned there, obviously take Tom out of it, we're a team of men as well, weren't we? At a certain time, like I say, he's talking about the governors, and that obviously Webby, he's got promotions under his belt.
Yeah,
Webby's got promotions,
still playing as well.
Still playing. Obviously, Steve's obviously got promotions under his belt and Premier League experience and international experience. So again, we sort of lent on each other and guided the players behind us to come with us, and that's why I think it was a big success. And Chopper bought an environment where you wanted to come in and play. It was an enjoyable environment, but when it was work time, it was work time. When you want to go and enjoy it, you go and enjoy yourself and have a laugh and all that. When he spoke, you listen, do what he has to say. And that's why I just think it worked, and we just sort of pushed each other because we knew where we wanted to go, And we all wanted to was obviously make his club successful and push it back up to the Championship.
And again, another parallel was that we went very close in the first season, obviously getting up there second time of asking. Sticking with that first season, I noted down that you did some quite serious damage blocking a James Hansen shot, I think, was it, against Bradford?
Yeah, see,
Great block.
yeah, it was a great ball. One which I wish I ever done. It's one in silly old time, Chucksy puts his body on the line week in, week out. I just remember just chucking myself in a block. Next round, I've done my lateral ligament, my hamstrings come off, and I had a little tear on my ACL.
Jeez.
So it was big damage in my knee. They always say now, like, so obviously I've got a massive scar down my knee. Whenever I get an x-ray, they say, look, like shrapnel in my knee. My bum's gone off in there. That's how sort of bad in the stitches and stuff like that. It was unfortunate with that because as soon as I come back with that, I knew I lost a couple of yards of pace. Although I was gifted with pace, but I wasn't slow. I could sort of keep up with people and all that. But I remember the first sprints I'd done, I just knew I lost that yard of pace. And pace is massive in this game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Me being a fullback and all that. And I was out for, must be about 5 months with that. So I was out a long time with that knee. And to come back with that, and it's just a sort of a tricky time. Obviously, the season's finishing, we're being successful. And obviously, like I said, we should probably go allude to in a minute. Obviously, I got thrusted into the playoff final. So
was it Webby that got injured in the warm up? Wasn't it?
Didn't he? So I hadn't played 90 minutes in 6-7 months, and then all of a sudden got thrust into the limelight at Wembley. Obviously, 90 minutes the playoff final in the biggest picture you can possibly have. So as you can imagine, that my mind's all over the place, thinking, "Oh my God, what's happening here?" Like, you think, just hopefully we do it today. Go and enjoy yourself. If you get some minutes, fantastic. And all of a sudden, bang, first 90 minutes. I think I had like 1 or 2 reserve games. And I think I nicked 10 minutes at Julian for the last game of the season. And being me, I'm rusty as anything. Like I said, I need, again, as I said earlier, I need 3 or 4 games for me to feel not confident, but get my timings and obviously mind going and everything like that. So all of a sudden, I've come back from injury, 1 reserve game, another reserve game, 10 minutes at the end of the season. Playoffs, obviously, I think I got 30 seconds the last one. Back, you're straight into it. So it's sort of like a minefield at that time. And then obviously we lose the game, and then it was just a day which obviously just didn't work out for this football club.
No, I mean, I said this to, I think it was Tomo. When you look back at that Barnsley team, there were some good players in that. There was really, really good players on there.
How? And
you got to remember him. I believe they was in the relegation zone at Christmas time, and they went on an unbelievable.
You're right, yeah,
and got in the playoffs through there, and they had the momentum, didn't they? And I think when they went up to the champ, that team got disinversed. Anything, I think they sold a lot of their players. A lot of the players were Prem, and
I think a lot of them were on loan as well.
There was a lot of players there, and they was just a good team. And like I say, it's just the people obviously before the game, me coming in, it's just sort of destructive things. It's just unfortunate. It's just one of them days,
So I've got to ask you about the captaincy. So obviously with you not due to start the game originally with Webby playing, Morrow was going to be captain, I think was vice captain at the time or whatever. And obviously you come back in. Tell us what happened, and then tell us your perspective on it.
No, it's one of them. I think he's just, I come in after the game, Chopper told me obviously I'm starting, and then obviously he said like, well, you're the captain of the club, obviously you lead out. So for me, and people think we had this massive fight and everything. I had disagreements, but I can assure you we never did. I think people try to make stuff up, and it's all harmed me going forward, for the following season. I had people making these sort of lies up and try to make a name for themselves, where I think some people went too far and over the top. But at the end of the day, it's football, and some people think they want to be relevant by trying to think they know the information where they didn't. And there was no disagreement between me and Steve. And it's just, unfortunately, just one of the days at the club, which unfortunately just didn't go right, and we just didn't get the result we were looking for.
But if we had won, you wouldn't have heard a thing, I suppose.
It's caught up.
Because, the people think they all know this, they want to know that and make a name for themselves, and people want to be relevant, don't they? So and I heard that the old Chinese whispers going around, and it's what it is. But
4 playoff finals you've captained. So well done. So you got Scotty, Barnsley. And you Brentford win, and then you went back the next season, right?
Yes, I've had 5 at Wembley. I've captained 4.
4. It was only the one that Robbo was captain.
Yeah, so I'm very, very proud of myself for that. You know, very grateful. It's one of them where, again, I only thought I played there once. So to play there 5 times and captain 4 is pinch yourself time, you know. And it was one of them, like I said, we played Sunday League football. I wasn't the best player in the world, but I worked hard. You know, I'd never big myself up. I've never been that sort of person. I'll just say, you tell me what I've got to do, whatever my job is, and I'll do it. You know, and if people want to come with me, and obviously if I can help people in any way, then fantastic. So to have the career I've had over 800, I think about 820 games, you know, so it is one of them. I take everything in my stride, but there will be a time when I retire and I sit back and go, yeah, I can sit back and go, yeah, I'm content, you know, and I can sit back with, I'm smiling now. Yeah, how it is funny. Because I know the time for me is coming, being 40 years old or 40 years younger, I should say, that I know that unfortunately that time is coming and I'm dreading it. I really, really am, because I just love to be involved in this game. The banter, it won't be replicated any other environment I can possibly go to. That dressing room is just so. Again, keeps you young. It does. Unfortunately, not up here, but it does. Inside, it keeps me young, you know. And I just love it. I just love being a part of a squad, being part of a group. And now, for me at my age, if I can help anyone going forward, I would.
Obviously, going back to, I mean, by the way, like it just feels absolutely mental to me. Just blows my mind that captain Wembley 4 times. Obviously, the next season, you're captain, we win. We're promoted back to the Championship, mission accomplished. Tell us a bit about the celebrations, and if you also don't mind, anything as part of that. Obviously, I know the late, great John Berylson was part of those celebrations. Any words or anecdotes from your experiences with him would be great.
Oh, mate, what a man. You know, what he done for this football club. He saved it. Let's be perfectly honest, it did. You know, the club was going in one way, wasn't it? You know, and he come in at the right time. What a gentleman. The whole family are lovely, and obviously Junior's coming, cheating rental on there and doing extremely well. But yeah, just for me, it's just in phone calls I've received every 1 or twice a month. I always used to speak to him, you know, and just see how the family are. But the thing with him, it wasn't interested in him. He was always interested in how I am and how my family is. And whenever you ask him a question, he always directs it back to me. So he was just so caring and kind and all that. And yeah, it was painful, obviously, when you hear the news and all that. But it's just good that there's a legacy, obviously, with his name at this club and obviously naming a road after him and all that, rightly so. And again, you're looking at son's done now, and he's improving it, isn't he? You know, and they've done the West Stand up inside now, and yeah, it's brilliant. You know, he's just a great man. He was a great family man, and obviously he's left his club in a much better position it was when he took over.
It's really hard to actually think of many other individuals that have done more for our football club. Really, is there? When you think about it, it's very, very difficult. Could still see him with a cigar. Fordy told us about that story.
Yeah, well, the old sprinklers coming on, but like I said, with them when he was in the celebration with us, the cigars come out more than once. Don't worry about that, you know. But he was one of them when he was good. He was with us. We always knew the bar we paid.
Well, thank you for that. What a legend. We're back in the Championship, so as you say, mission accomplished. That was what you came back to the club to do. I forget who the left back we brought in, but you were in and out the side again. When, of course, we signed him from Bradford, didn't we? After we went up. So, what was, he was a slightly different fullback to you. Obviously, I know you were kind of predominantly a centre back there, but you still fielded at left back. What happened in that season back in the Championship? And I think you end up moving to Bristol Rovers, but I don't know if it was the end of the season or
no. In January, it was one. I think I played 4 games till January. And yeah, that's not enough for me. At that time, it was just, it was a hard decision for me. To be honest, it was heartbreaking because I always knew that'd be my last opportunity to represent this great football club, the club where I supported. So,
can you remember your final game? Do you remember that?
Derby, I think. Yeah, Derby. I believe Nero, I think he brought me on.
H8.
Yeah. So, I think he brought me on or it might have been Bert, one of the two. I can't remember. But no, it was an hard one. You know, he was sort of, I had tears in my eyes. You know what I mean? When I made that decision, I pulled Chopper in for a chat. I said, "Where'd you see me?" He could have been more nice if he tried. He even offered me another contract, another year, and all that. But I wanted a contract that I knew that I earned, and not playing, you didn't earn it. So I could have easily took the contract, happy days. But me being the man I am and being from, obviously, the upbringing I've had, you got to earn it.
Yep.
And obviously we had a good chat, me and Chop, and I just said, like, what do you see? He said, "Tone, like, unfortunately, I'm going with Meredith. I think your minutes be sparing this season." And I thought to myself, I don't want no regrets in this game. And I don't want to be seeing myself being on the bench week in, week out, traveling all around the country. Yeah, I'll be your leader, you know what I mean? I'll be your G people up before the games, because that's me as a person. I want people to succeed and do well. Not left back by me. But no, it's one of them where I just thought to myself, go and enjoy it, because you're a long time retired than what you are playing.
Yeah.
And it's just thankfully that the club and John Berylson was brilliant with me as well. We fully understood it. He tried for me to stay, but it's one thing where I already made my mind up. Was meant to be going to Southend at the time under Phil Brown.
Right.
And I thought, brilliant, because I don't have to move, you know.
Yeah. I was about to ask, it must be the first time you had to move, right?
So I thought, fantastic. And then obviously Phil Brown got the sack, and before you know it, you're thinking, okay. And then Bristol Rovers come up. But do you know what? I loved every minute be there. You know, great city, great place. I was saying now, I think if my wife and kids would have come up with me, I don't think we'd have moved back. I think it's that nice up there personally. But I was lucky. Daryl Clark was the manager, so I didn't train on Mondays. So if we didn't have a Tuesday game, I would only train Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So what I would do is I would have obviously Sunday, Monday off at home. But I would go back to Bristol on a Monday evening. I always do the train. I didn't drive it because it's no good for your body. So the train's a lot more relaxing, much more easier and toll on the body. So, and then obviously after training on the Tuesday, I would come home again. So I'll be home 4:30 from Bristol in my house. And then what I do, I'll go back on the Wednesday evening, go back. So I've done it professionally. I've done it all good and every night. But my daughter just started school, and I didn't want to drag her out of school because obviously, if my parents would have brought me out of school being a youngster, I don't think I would have forgave them. You lose your mates and all that. So it was a decision where it's a hard one. It's the first time where me and my wife and my kids have been apart. But Daryl Clark understood that situation. That he looked after me. And obviously, if we had a Tuesday game, I would still go back on a Sunday night, train on a Monday. Again, doing it on the train, so it ain't as tolling on the body. Come back on that Monday, and then I'll go back Tuesday afternoon, get my afternoon kit, and then Daryl Clark would give me Wednesday and Thursday after just coming on Friday. So I was very sort of looked after in that aspect. Yeah. So luckily enough, me and Daryl Clark had a great relationship, which worked for me. So I think with me, if my family are good, I'm good. So my family's happy, my wife's happy, I'm happy as well. And it might get
it's talking to the converted here, mate. I tell you,
I made that move a lot.
Nice.
Do you know what thing I find strange in football as well, though? And it's like a testament to you and other players. So if we hadn't have gone up and we'd have been in League One, you might stay. You might play 30 games. It's weird for like you're striving to get out of this league, and it happened a couple of times. And then when you're there, I'm like, oh, not for you, mate. And then you have to go somewhere else, and then you're like, right, well, I've got to play it again. I can prove it. And then they're like, right, well, not for you, mate.
And we signed Meredith. So what you know, who didn't make it? Yeah. That's what I'm saying. There's such a parallel.
Yeah, no, definitely. But like I said, when you sign for these clubs and all that, you put pressure on yourself, and you want the club to be successful. Then you know, because obviously if you're successful, hopefully you get a move off of it. Yeah. Or more importantly, like I said, because I had that success the following season, I was 33 this time. Obviously, I was very lucky that another League One club come in for me, Bristol Rovers, which
we beat them on the last game of the season.
The last game of the season. I scored actually as well. Yeah, not many, but no. I did score that day. So, and it wasn't until I got there, the club was bigger than I actually thought. You know, they were averaging like 10,000 a game.
Right. So is it the Memorial ground? Is it?
Yeah, that is correct. So, yeah, no, it's a big old. It took a lot of convincing from Daryl Clark, but it's one in now. At the time, I went there because I think I was there for 2.5 years and I played 120 games. So, and then obviously COVID hit, and then, but no, I've thoroughly enjoyed my time there. And I think even now, whenever I go back to Bristol, whenever I can, I'll get a great reception whenever I go in there. So it's pleasing.
And obviously, sort of fast forward now to your current days. I think you then went on to Crawley, and now you're obviously at Dorking. And how's that going for you?
It's one of them. I thoroughly enjoy it down there. It's an up and coming club. Obviously, it's come from nowhere to obviously to the Conference South. It's had success, which is well documented. Obviously, people watch the program, bunch of amateurs. The cameras are not particularly me. I think if people do watch it, I sort of hide from it. I know where the cameras are, and I sort of get my seat under them, so I'm not sort of seen and all that. But for me, like I said, I'm 40 years old now. I'm one there where I just want to enjoy it as long as it lasts, as long as the body's in good condition and holds up, and I'm doing myself justice. And when I mean that by performing well, I'm not letting anyone down. I will continue, and if this season's my last, then so be it. I haven't got no regrets. Obviously, I've had bad games, but it's one of them. I think the decisions I've had to make at certain times have all worked out for me. Mm. And for me now, over 830 games is something which I don't think I'd even be close to. I was told that you can only call yourself a pro when you play 50 appearances. So to go well and above that is a dream. And as I alluded to earlier, when I played at Nottingham Forest in 2003, I'd have been very content with one. So every one was a bonus. And I've just loved the ride. I've loved the journey. And the pleasing thing for me is obviously I've gone from a young, naive, young boy to a man that. Mm. And I'm just so pleased to be a part of this great game. And more importantly, that my family have been a part of the journey as well.
And part of a journey that obviously saw you play over 300 games for Millwall, which, I mean, there's a handful in there. There's not many that say that. What's next for you then? So I know, obviously, you've part of a training setup. Yeah. Do you want to talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, no, we're starting a new sort of football centre open up called Elite Performance, which is starting in September. There's 3 of us on board, myself, Alex Warner and Terry Hawkey. We just see a gap in the market. I just see a lot of these sort of centres coming up, not people who have been involved in the game. Or not got sort of many qualifications under their belt, like the A or the B license. And for me, I just want to give back to this game. That's what me personally want to do. And if I can help these youngsters progress, one, I wanted to enjoy the game going forward. Of course I do. But if I can help them just improve a little bit of their game or their game management or their game knowledge, then brilliant. So what we're doing is on a Thursday, we're going to call it like the elite players, where they're academy players or A-League players or JPL players, the sort of the top of the tree at their age groups, come in an environment which obviously I enjoy it, but it's sort of like a carousel as well. We've got the tactical side of the game where you sort of technical side of the game, where they can learn their first touch, their passing, their skill development and all that. And then we've got the SNC coach, where you sort of concentrate on people on their speed, agility, movement and that. And then hopefully what we can do with the technical side, I can sort of take that into a game related, So what we're saying is what you learn in the technical side, we can take it into a game environment and hopefully they can see what they've learned in that we can take it in a game sort of focus and game moments. And hopefully I can sort of guide and help them whenever possible. So we're really looking forward to it. We've got an open day on the 28th, next Thursday, which was oversubscribed, sold out within an hour, which is brilliant. And we're going to do a Thursday night down in Lee Academy and a Monday night also. So which we're going to take like the development and the advanced kids as well. So the kids who just want to play for enjoyment, want to play with their mates, and we want to bring them into an environment where hopefully with a good coaching environment as well, and hopefully we can improve then brilliant. So now I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to give back, and I just can't wait for it to go to get started and see where it takes us. And I'm just, like I said, I'm very fortunate that Millwall let me come in and do this. And Millwall's 15, 16s.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoy, and Scott Fitzgerald sort of done me a favour and got me in, and for them to give me their time and all that. So it's good to see the up and coming players coming through, and there's exciting times in that academy at the moment. We've got a lot of players coming through, and like I said, I think Sheldon made his professional debut last season. Sorry, so it's nice to see natural progression into a first team environment, and I honestly do see a bright future for him going forward. And not only him, I think there's about 4 or 5 others coming underneath him as well. So hopefully they get their games at a time this year, and hopefully the crowd and can see the youth academy bring more and more good talent coming through, and which has been a good grounding for this football club going forward, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's part of the model, shall we say? But going back to obviously your new venture, we'll link to that. So if anyone is interested in, obviously it's signing up or whatever, we'll put the link into that. Paul, I know you've got a couple of little questions there, mate. Go for it.
No, you're not my starter then.
Just going to say, so obviously because you've got a link with Millwall as well, technically, obviously if you see kids you can send them Millwall as well.
No, definitely. I think there's obviously that pathway in for them as well, but more importantly, obviously with my connections, I can we're going to get numerous scouts coming down to look in and look at the talent, which hopefully will come through. And again, you know what this game's all about. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And I'll certainly be using them key sort of people on me, and if anyone can help in that aspect, then brilliant.
Okay, mate. Well, I've got a couple of questions that I thought of, and then a little quiz for you at the end. So the first one's about Dorking. So you were kind of went viral, mate. Someone poured a pint over your head. So I just want to know, how did TC stay calm in that moment and not jump over the whole?
Well, the problem is, if I'd have gone through him, I'd be in a lot more trouble than Nick.
Yeah, I bet.
It weren't. I was just in shock.
That's whole pint as well.
I still find it strange that they're drinking pints around the pitch.
Oh, if they can.
Yeah. At the level I'm at now, they can't do it. So as you can imagine now, I'll keep the ball back to the keeper, and all of a sudden I'm thinking, someone tell me fucking water. Are you hearing that? Yeah. And all of a sudden I'm tasting it, I'm like, that's fucking beer.
Well,
and all of a sudden I'm thinking, there's a clip on me, I think, I won't repeat what I said, but they're fucking polite. But then all of a sudden, I think it was just a shock got me at the start, but then if I would have reacted,
you did well. I look to see on your face.
And like I said, it's a moment where you don't know you're going to react until that moment and all that. And then, but the thing is, like, the geezer tried to apologise. I've got no interest in that, and then the police were like, if you retaliated, we'd have grabbed you more than him. And you're like, well, lucky we didn't like go in there and all that, which my right would have been, because if that's in the
that was outside,
outside or something like that, and then it's a different story, isn't it? So, but that's the thing with football. People think they can say what they want because obviously you're on the pitch, but then when they don't say it on the outside of the pitch, do they? So, but no, it's funny now, but I can assure you at the time,
I'll bet. Right, next one. If there was one game you could replay, but not to change the result, but just to relive that experience, what would it be?
Winning the last time at Wembley.
The second time.
No, definitely. That moment was massive for me. Not only for me, but my family as well. I took a lot of stick that season. A lot of stick.
But from the
stands, when I was out and all that. So it was a difficult time. So for me now, that's a moment where...
Yeah.
There you go. And no one can say anything now because I've lifted the trophy at Wembley with my teammates behind me and all that. And they were brilliant with me at the time as well because they knew what was happening and all that. They was right behind me. You know what I mean? Whatever I'd done and all that, they were there. And that moment, I would just love to go back with holding that trophy, sitting there with my mum, my dad, my brother, my sister, my wife and my kids. I took the trophy up. People don't know that. I took it to my house. So we're having parties and a couple of days after, I was the trophy. All my mates around and everything.
Keep the missus out a bit.
It was a moment, and I just remember, we just all sat there. We all looked at each other and thought, my dad's one there, but he don't say well done unless he's well done. Now, I think it's the only time in football he's gone, I'm proud of you, son. Do you know what I mean? You're like, cool, that's touched me that. Yeah. So that was a moment where that will always live with us. And that trophy, I had it around my house for a week after that. Yeah, so
really
brilliant day.
And then just a little quiz. So, other Millwall players you've played with, who do you think are the top 5 players that you've played the most games with?
Oh, Paul Robertson.
Number 1.
Wardy.
No. Funny enough, no. I can give you a clue.
Jimmy.
So, number 2.
Jimmy.
They're all governors, to be fair.
Steve.
Yeah, 4.
Chopper.
He's actually 6.
Yeah.
You got the second best right back you've ever played
Well,
with.
done it, yes.
Yeah.
I should remember that one, yeah. They'd be on me off that one.
And I'm going to give you a little clue. Number 5, someone you'd have heard screaming a lot behind you.
Oh, Wardy.
Yes.
Wardy, yeah. I was a screamer as well, wasn't it?
So yeah, Robbo, 166 games with Robbo you played.
Jeez, that's
You've done your research there, mate.
I'm not going to lie, ChatGPT. But I've never used it before, and I'm like, well, I'm downloaded it.
That's brilliant, yeah.
that's over half your games you played alongside Robbo.
Yes. Like I said, there's a lot of game between us there. You know, what a great bloke you. What a leader. And like I said, I would just see him in management in some sort of capacity. So no, really,
Well, the club.
yeah, but no, he's brilliant. Just so level-headed, never flustered. Whatever you say, and nothing's too much for him as well. That's the thing. You can ask him anything, and he'll do anything for you. So I'm trying to think. What we got there? 6. Oh, 7.
Hackett, Chris Hackett. Yeah, no, he's a great barrel.
I would never have got Chris Hackett.
Chris Sackey, funny story, me and him. So obviously I was at Wickham on loan. He was at Oxford playing against you. Obviously he was right when I was left at the time. He was the up and coming. So Lee Tooby was then, and he was like, meant to get the best move. So obviously I'm just tackling. He only elbowed me on the floor. I've got a photo at home. Like, he's clubbed me good, and he got sent off and everything. So it's funny how and all of a sudden you can imagine that a few years later, he's walked through the door and I'm like, it's that geezer who's elbowed you. Yeah.
I'll celebrate.
Yeah, no, he was a good bloke as well. And Scott Barron, like I said, he's a great bloke. He's an Asian man and he's doing extremely well in the agency. And yeah, just you can always tell he's got that personality. He entertains people and he can entertain a room.
Yeah.
Whenever he opens his mouth, everyone sort of listens and engages and got a great sense of humour. He's just such a likeable bloke, which I think will do you well. Going when you said he was an Asian, you can just see that fitting in really, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me done. That's just that's done. The only other thing I will ask actually is about Gareth Ainsworth. So he done you twice.
Yeah, he done twice, didn't he?
I was there both times. At Wickham away, the second time. Was that like a personal thing, or was it just generally?
I just don't know with that one. He did try to apologise to me 8 years later, but I said to you 8 years too late.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, there's probably challenges and stuff I've done, which I've not particularly proud of and all that. But yeah, it's a moment where I've got sort of melt paste in my face because of the kick, which I never was pretty, but I tell you, it didn't do me no good either. No, it's one of them where, and then obviously when he elbowed me a little bit later, and I was thinking, yeah, that's right with me. And then when he tried to apologise, it was 8 years too late for me. But like I said, there no problems before that. Oh, there ain't no problems now, is it? Everyone wants to be a winner and put their body on the line. And obviously, people do stuff. And again, I repeat myself, I've done stuff which I'm not particularly proud of and all that. But that's football, Sometimes you're on the end of things. And on that occasion, certainly was twice.
It was just it's so bizarre, wasn't it? From an outside looking, it was like, did he have a vendetta against you? But weird.
I think it's just very disappointing. I'm 6'1", and then gets scissor kicked in the head. I don't mind if I was 5'4" or something like that. You take it, but being that high, the foot high.
Why are you looking at me 5'4"? Good for you.
5'3", and yeah.
And I'm wearing heels, yeah. Justice, yeah.
So to wrap things off, we're going to do a quick fire round. So I'm just going to fire questions at you, and like first thing that comes to your head.
Okay.
That tackle, bury it home. You celebrated it like it was a goal. Talk us through your thoughts.
Yeah, it's a very tackle out. No, it's just I just remember it going over Wemmy's head, and I'll just again springing back and I was thinking I can get close or try and put him off or put him onto his weaker foot because obviously I think it's forward, when he's right through it. So I think if I can put him on his left foot, disrupt him in any way. Also, I remember getting closer and I think getting closer, and then bang. I've loved a tackle, wherever it is. Whenever I've done a tackle, I've celebrated 90% of them. It's just the way I am as a person. But that one was just a nice moment. I think that was a moment where it sort of turned for me at the den.
Mm.
You know, I think he turned with the fans. I think
that was in the season we got promoted, wasn't it?
It was promoted. So I think I got that turn there where also I think they realised he's putting his life and soul into this club. You know, he's sort of working hard. He's the captain of this, and I think we've got to be on side. And there's moments in life where you look back and think that's a great turning point. That's one I do look back with, and yeah, it's a great turning point for me and going forward this club.
Goal saving tackle or goal?
Or also goal saving tackle. I would personally.
I just knew you would say that.
Do I get personal sort of pride out of that? You know, I'm sort of not personal. Everyone, you love scoring a goal and all that, but the accolades don't really appeal to me. If I can sort of help the team win or do that, I think I get more sort of a insight or pleasure out of that because I know I've done my job. My job is to defend.
Yeah.
Defend the winger or the goal and whenever possible. So if I've done that last-ditch tackle like that, save the goal, I certainly will. I'll take that 9 times out of 10. I would. I really, really would.
I thought you might say that. Best centre-back partner you've ever played with?
Oh, you put me on here. I loved Robbo. Loved playing with him. You know, I think Robbo with me was he would look at me. Do you know what I love about Robbo was he knew when I was having not a good time. You know, when the game's just not going well. And you get that glance, it's just say, oi, fucking switch on. You know, and I think we had that together. You know, we both know we weren't technically the best, but we would sort of get the best out of each other. And he's another player like myself, you know, sort of put his body on the line, got the war scars through it and everything like that. But like I said, he was pleasure. But I've got to give Aldi a lot of credit as well. You know, he was someone who I went to for advice and all that, you know, but he was a class act as well, wasn't he? You know, he used class as a centre-half, comfortable on the ball, but more importantly, I think we see him do better tackles because he read the game so well.
He didn't tackle and he never ran.
Yeah, no, like me and
but the ball just he's there.
Me and Rob would do last-ditch tackles. You got to get yourself out of trouble. One with roaring, foaming at the mouth, and everything like that. But he was just sort of like just calm, collective, and he just got his body in the right positions and that. And yeah, for me, you got to put James Harkost in there as well. We had Payne for England and all that. I think just speaks to himself. So there's 3 great contenders there.
Yeah, 3 very good ones. Who would you say is just in general the best player you ever played with at any position, just or any club? Best player you played with?
That would say me because
prison company excused. Yeah,
he's trying to figure out how that kit was there. Best player. Oh. You got to give Todd haven't you? You know, like I said, the record goal scorer at football, any football club is an unbelievable achievement. But to certainly do it at this football club was brilliant, you know, and his movement was fantastic. That was ahead of his time.
Yeah.
You know, it was not many people could mark him. Did he have pace? No. But it's just a movement. It's just always alert, always sort of movement and all different sorts of finishes, wasn't it? You know, tap-ins, headers, long distance. I won't say many, but there was a few. But no, from just credit because he got this award, obviously being the record goal scorer at this great football club, which will be, I think, be hard to break because obviously now not much loyalty around, is there? No. So I don't see that getting broken personally, you know, and all that because players move on a lot more quickly now, don't they? So that will live long in the memory, that sort of record. And
we don't score many goals either, so there's always that.
Ivanovic is a good player, mate. He can finish, can't he? You know?
That was actually funny enough. My next question, like, who in the current team, and maybe you give me another one on top of Ivanovic, excites you in the current team at Millwall?
Mate, like I said, Ivanovic, I wanted what player he's going to be. Good.
20 years old.
Unbelievable. Just any sorts of different types of finishes. He's got a leap on him. In the movement, good. Really, really excites me wherever I see him. Tanganga's obviously done extremely well.
I need to get this out before he goes.
Let's be overly honest. He's done extremely well, hasn't he? He's a constant. You know, I'll be honest with you. I'm surprised not more Premier League clubs have come for him. He's been so consistent for the club, hasn't he? You know, and that. So yeah, I'm really do hope he stays at the football club.
There's
the money talks, does he?
Well, he's obviously got the clause for Premier League clubs where he can go really cheap.
Yeah.
But there's quite a lot of rumours he's in talks with Sheffield United.
Yeah,
5 million plus.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of money, but
within PSR now, suppose another club they buy 1.5 and sell it. They profit like that's what some of the foreign clubs do now. You know, but
I'll give him my idea. Don't put this out, sure.
but no, it's one of them. I think it's one of them. I enjoy watching Billy Mitchell as well. You know, I know he gets a bit of flack. I know he does, and people say he goes side to side. But I think he's so composed on the ball. He always keeps it. Yes, he can go forward a bit more, but again, I think he's safe. I think it's going to be a big season for him. I really, really do think he's going to go a big step for him this year.
Alex clearly likes him as well, Alex Neil, doesn't he? So
he's going to get more responsibility, and I think he's going to grow with that, taking that on. Because, like I said, there's a few of the old guard who have left in the centre of the pitch, you know, bit more vocal than him. And I really do think with the personality he's got, I think he's going to take that responsibility on. And I think to be a bright spark this season and go for, again, strength for strength.
He's a top lad as well. Really nice lad.
He likes the club as well. That's another one, mate. He's always be out there as well.
There is, mate. Last couple now. Who's the best manager you played under?
I live in Ireland. Do you know what it is? I'm always going to give Mark McGee credit because obviously he gave me my debut.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm always going to talk highly of him. For someone to take a 17, 18-year-old scrawny, skinny kid to put him into a first team environment is a gamble, isn't it? You know, and he trusted me to go out there to produce and express myself by remembering saying, Tone, go out there and smile on your face and enjoy it. You know, and he gave me the freedom and the license to go and do that. So for me, I'll always hold him up there. But like I said, what Kenny Jackett done for the club was brilliant. You know, again, repeating myself, under the drum barrels and thing, the club was on his knees at the time. Didn't know where he was coming or going. And for him to come in at the time he did, he sort of got everyone on side and he took the club up another 2-3 levels, didn't he? You know,
we could have gone down.
Yeah, no, 100%. People don't remember that. We was a proper big dive straight. And if we'd have gone down, what could have happened? What could have happened? It'd have been a tricky time, wouldn't it? Not many clubs recover. So he was brilliant with me personally. And like I said, I know I'm doing 3, but I've got to do it to obviously Chuck as well. Yeah, he was brilliant to give me the armband and that responsibility. Again, I'm living my boyhood dream. You know, being the captain of the club you support, you followed, watched. Again, I'll always be in his debt for that. And I was just so grateful that I could repay that by that promotion. Yeah. So that was a big thing for me, was like, job up. Love you. Thanks you so much for bringing back to me to his great football club. There you go.
It's my gift back to
nice for me to give that gift back to him, you know. And so I know that was 3, but I've got to say all 3 of them because they had a good influence on my career and more important in my life as well.
Yeah, no, totally. And well, I mean, Chopper is not many people make it as a legend, as a player, as a manager at one club today. So, funniest banter you've ever heard at a football match? It could be Millwall, it could be another club, but what's like the order?
On the beer shots.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Like, I'm so in the zone when I play. You know, people go, "You don't hear it." I don't. I really,
yeah.
You don't hear the sort of banter or stuff like that. So I'm so fixated and focused onto the game that nothing else matters. It's just that moment, that battle. I mean, it's just so engrossed up in it that whatever happens there or people say, I hear more now playing at Dorking than I ever did when I was at Millwall and playing in full houses, because there are not as many people, you know. But obviously when there's a crowd, there's so much. But like I said, it's done all the time, you know, when you get called names and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? I've had the ball lobbed at the back of my head and stuff like that. But I'm trying to think of certain ones. You know what I mean? Obviously, I've seen people, like I said, when you win the playoff finals, you know what I mean? Knowing they come on the pitch there and grabbing you and saying all this stuff and fucking, and I think I had a beer with one on the pitch after the playoff final, Huddersfield. Do you know what I mean? You know, this moment was like, I think he had to be able to pass that and go up down with him and all that, you know. So
Huddersfield was great, but start with some atmosphere.
Was that the best atmosphere you played in, or was there one that tops that for you?
Leeds
playoff, yeah.
That's
the away leg, or
both really. Then to it was just pure hatred there, wasn't it? Italy and stuff like that. They're special atmospheres. Obviously, you've got the West Ham one. Obviously, that's special atmosphere. Charlton one. This one, you never really there anyway, do you? And like I said, they sort of say their little piece and they sort of quiver away then, don't they?
Yeah.
You know, but like, again, the Charlton one, that's a nervous one there. I don't want to be the first team to lose that one. I really don't. They had an extra little spice and
Take note, Coops.
yeah, a little bit of responsibility on that one, isn't there? You know, what are we up to now? 20 odd years, aren't we?
28, I think.
Yeah.
There's hitting there on that. It's incredible. So, yeah, I want to be in the dressing room or the crowd that or on the pitch for us.
Coming soon, isn't it?
No, that will last
September 12th.
Yeah, no, so, but no, yeah, it's been so many unique sort of atmospheres, but one which that Leeds Power Final, home and away, was like, that was special.
Yeah.
That was special, that. You know, I remember when they scored at Ellen Road, I remember being on the floor when they scored, and it's like, hell, he's a roar and a half. And obviously when Chopper scored, he's won. Was it Chopper the first leg? I believe it was, I think.
And Jimmy always.
And then obviously Jimmy.
Jimmy.
When we scored, got the equaliser, the pace went silent. Because there weren't many Millwall fans here either, was it?
No. And obviously he started off the chant in the famous video of fuck 'em all and whatever.
Yeah. Oh, Jimmy boy, yeah, great bloke, couldn't he? But no, it's and obviously Wembley, great atmosphere in it. You know, I mean, great roar there, but it's just unfortunately it just wasn't. Actually, we took 55,000 here for the Scott Hall, didn't it?
Unbelievable.
That got 8,000.
That was unbelievable, wasn't it? I just remember that. I think everyone you knew was going. Isn't it? Like, even people didn't even support were going. Wasn't it? So, but no, like the roar you get here as well when it's going well, and when there's no place like it, is it? And that mill going round the ground is again, that's goosebump moments and great times. And like I said, obviously with Alex Neil here now, I do see success coming as well, you know, and it's just a shame the season finished a month too early last year, wasn't it? You know, you never would have known, would we?
No, it's I don't want to say too much because we've had a dodgy week with transfer rumours and stuff going out, but I think we've got the right man at the helm, that's for sure. I think he's a top bloke. Last question for you then. You can go for a night out with 3 of your ex-former Millwall teammates. We were talking off air about some of the players you still keep in touch with. Who would they be?
Oh, 3 of them, yeah. I probably would say, obviously, Paul Robinson, Neil Harris, and I'd do Darren Ward.
Darren Ward, yeah.
I would, yeah. That'd be my 3. I think Gary Alexander's a good night. Dunny's obviously a good night out as well, you know. Lairdy. There's loads there, but yeah, it's dead, yeah. Oh, I don't even give me trouble with that one. I'll bring them on, mate. Fair play. Well, that put me out of the I'm happy. Cool. Fat chance with them, I'll tell you. Fat chance. No chance. But no, they're out, like, you know, so that, yeah, no, we keep in contact now, you know. Obviously, not all the time. It's just, obviously, things change. People's obviously got other things going on and all that. You'd love to keep in contact with all the time, but it's funny football, you know, the thousands of players or 1,000 players I play with, whatever, you keep in contact with less than 10. You know, like obviously you see them, it's like you ain't been away, but people, things change, don't they? You know, kids come along and obviously different agendas and all that. So it is what it is. But no, like I said, I can look back and I've met some fantastic people through this game and I'm just so grateful that there's a part of my journey going forward.
Well, thank you, Tony. Thank you. Any final thoughts from you, my man, Paul, before we close out?
No, mate, I just obviously loads of good memories. Thank you for coming. Really appreciate it. And I hope everything goes well, obviously, with the with football the elite performance.
Really appreciate it.
Tony, any final messages to the Millwall fans?
Just keep with the boys, keep pushing them on, and I'll see a successful season coming for him. And like I said, there's no roar like at the Den. Miss it, and hopefully I'll be back soon.
Well, look forward to see you. Thanks very much, Tony.
Cheers.
Really appreciate it. Ladies and gents, that has been Once a Lion with Tony Craig. Thank you so much, as always, for listening. If you haven't and you've taken the opportunity to listen to whatever this has been, 2 hours, please do give us a like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and of course, we'll be back on the next one. As always, bye for now.
Brilliant, gents.
You didn't press record.
Hi, Steve Morrison here, and you're listening to Chat with Chaps, chatting Millwall, come rain or shine.